Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's a pleasure to host such an amazing woman, Alka Bagga, today with us. And I cannot see all my audiences because of the kind of format we have for our session. But I'm sure and I'm so happy for all the audience that have joined just to listen to this amazing lady. I welcome all the audiences. I special welcome to Ms Alka Bagga and special welcome to all the Breww founders and Mr. Mulchan and all those people who are associated with this amazing organization called Breww. Before we start, I would like to introduce and tell a little bit more about Breww. So, Business Rankers is one of the amazing platform. There's a digital media, there is a magazine, there is an award, there are events. So, Business Rankers is the brainchild of Mr. Mulchan, and this has been continuing for almost so many years. So he picks up some amazing women like Alka Bagaji across the globe, and he showcases the stories to the people. So every time we have one of the most amazing women being showcased either through awards or through their magazine or through talk sessions like this. Like for example, last time there was a Muslim constable from Uttar Pradesh, there was a woman entrepreneur from Jodhpur, and there was a physically challenged woman who is doing exceptionally well in business. So when we are talking about business rankers, we are not talking about the mundane or the glorious or the glamorous business people, but the hardcore strugglers and survivors who have made a mark for themselves on their own. So this is the beauty of business rankers. And recently we have started this business rankers women wing, which is called Breww. And the agenda is again to get inspiration from women like Alka Bagga and motivate other women and support them and guide them. So the story itself will tell women that how it is difficult, easy, and how a woman can become a successful entrepreneur just like Ms. Alka Bagga. So, Alka ji, I have seen your profile, and I must say I am so impressed, and I'm in awe of what you have done. Maths and computers is one thing which all the women and men are in awe. They are, they can't just handle. And you are the one who has done it so beautifully and so successfully. Hats off to you. So, Madam is the proud founder and the owner of Critical Mission Computing, and she is giving digital solutions in European countries, China, India, Australia, and New Zealand. So, this is look at the kind of business empire she has created, and especially in computers. So, basically, she shifted to London in 1990, and since then, she has created a niche for herself. But as they say, the person can explain its own journey, and they are the best narrators. So I would request Ms. Alka Bagga, although I have your profile with me, to tell the people, to tell the world about you, your struggle, how you started this, and what's your vision. So please give an introduction about yourself, ma'am. Over to Alka ji.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everything, because I know we've got audience from around the globe. It's been an absolute pleasure when Breww contacted and wanted to hear more about my journey. I would go back a little bit in time, 3 decades back, where Shipra is asking me about my entrepreneurship details, is that I was brought up in a family which was very close knit, nurtured, uh, and protected family. So we were brought up whereby we didn't have to take any decisions for ourselves. And the first time I ever was across taking any decision was when I graduated. And that was the time when the question was put across to me as to what do you want to do next? And I had no clue at the time what the question was posed onto me. But it's very interesting because at that young age, um, at the time, the only options we had for women 30 years back, which is mid 80s, is you could either do B.Ed or you could do housekeeping or you could do medicine. And none of this, nothing wrong, but it did not entice me at all. And I had to quickly think as to what I really want to do. And at the time, we used to have the series Star Trek. Shipra, you might be a little young to remember that, but I used to watch that with my brother Piyush. And it used to have that to boldly go where no man has gone before. And it was that I picked up my courage. I had heard about computers, and I went and told my parents that I want to do computers. And it wasn't anywhere near us either. It was, in Jaipur where you were, not even in Ajmer where I was from. But however, that was the first step I took into the male dominating industry. That led me to then come to this country after I got married and I restudied. And after restarting, then obviously I got a job. And when the kids were born, I decided that I'm going to start my own company, Critical Mission Computing. And there is various risks come across your way, of course. And it's the risks come with both rewards and failures. But it is something that I believed in, I enjoyed doing, and I thought I'm going to do it. And that's when I started CMC. So my life has been a like of series of risk taking throughout. But I think it has worked in the favor. If you believe in something, you're good at something, you want to give that push. And I think that's what I did.
Oh, that's an amazing, amazing journey, So you are one of those pioneers, 30 years back, nobody thought about computers. So you are one of the leading ladies, I can say. So tell me more about your company. What I can say, it's an empire. So you are into digital marketing. So what is the size of your team, and what solutions do you provide? So are you developing softwares for them, or are you doing digital marketing? So where in the arena of computers does you and your company fit in?
Uh, my niche is on bespoke development. Is when I started working in the city, that's where I developed doing bespoke systems. But however, when I started my own company, then I realized that there was more to it. There were people coming who wanted the websites done. So there were websites, Magento websites, where they wanted to sell online. We also do mobile apps, which is now obviously a very known factor. Uh, we are also taking risks and going into artificial intelligence. Digital marketing, of course, is also there. So it is the front and the back tail, the CRM systems. Because I'm coming from bespoke niche of mine, that is something that I really stand out for equally. So it's a quite a balance of a few things that we look after. And as per my team, I've got about 50 plus working with me. So we've got different teams. We've got people who do sort of websites. Then we've got mobile apps, and now we're going to the third arena. We also do digital marketing. But within that, we also have the designers, the developers, the testers, technicians. So it's a combination of everything which you need for every platform.
So, and how do you source? There must be very tough competition. How do you source clients in Europe and Australia? I mean, that's the most interesting thing which I found in your profile. So, how do you,
Ah,
yeah, receive it from me?
yeah, I mean, as you said, technology online. I've never. I mean, you've seen recently with this lockdown, everybody's coming online now. For me, I was sitting here, and when I left work, my clients started following me, or asking me, "Can you do some work for us?" So initially, I was doing it myself, and with the kids being tiny and small, I thought I can do with some help. As I used to go to India quite often, 2, 3 times a year,
Hmm.
I cherry picked my team. I started doing that. So I started small, of course. And then as I got more projects and I was in a position to cherry pick my project as to I only want to do 2 or 3 at a time, which I can manage. And that's how it all started. And then obviously with the referrals or with the reviews that we get, I started getting approached from other parts of the country because of digital marketing. So if you're on, it's called Google, you look for something, you see that, you see the reviews, the feedbacks, and you try and sort of contact them. And yeah, and because being online, it did not restrict me at all. And for my team, I still get up every morning. I'm having one-to-one with them from 5 to 8 o'clock, and then I become like sort of full person, client-facing personality over here. So for me, it comes quite naturally now. So I didn't find it any different.
You know what? That reminds me of a very interesting quote, which completely fits you in. मैं चला तो अकेला था, पर जैसे जैसे बढ़ता गया, तारवा बनता गया. Right? So you
You are so
started.
right.
So you
True.
started alone, but it's slowly and gradually. So, because most of our audience are women, they would like to understand how did you manage kids and with the work? Because do you get a very good support system in America? Because in India there is no crash facility, and you don't have maids, so you have to manage everything on your own. So how did you pass that phase? And I think you have two kids, so taking care of two kids and managing your own family and everything. So, what's your secret?
Right. I'm in UK, not America. But
Okay,
obviously,
sorry.
America, UK, it's a similar concept.
Mm,
Is that obviously when I had my second child, I
mm,
decided I'm going to quit work
mm,
because my priority was like I'm going to make sure that I give full attention to the children. And as I, looping back, that some of my clients started following me, and I wanted to do something because when the kids are asleep or they're tiny, there's time that you have at hand. And Anil, my husband, was traveling quite a bit at the time. So as I was doing something for myself, then I created the company. Now coming to how did I manage it? So when I did in between that time when they were sleeping or they were at school. I used to use that time initially. And hence, as I said, I only picked a couple of projects, two, three at a time, and did that. Once they went to school, both of them, I had that bracket of 9 to 4 kind of a thing with me. So that worked in my favor. So it's all about time management. You've got to manage the time. You've got to be very disciplined with yourself if you're working from home as your home office, still giving that professional sort of outlook to your business. So you learn, you grow, you evolve. If you want to do something, you're going to do. So
So it's
that's
like
how it
if
has
you are
happened.
determined, you find ways to do it. Yeah. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
it's something like the child is in your lap and the computer is in your hands, and you are just managing both the things, right?
I would say that has happened as well. So, that has happened on occasions, yes.
Okay, that's so. Tell me one thing, like what has been your biggest, challenge, or what shall I say? That there must have been moments when you had a breakdown and when you thought of quitting it, and what was the biggest challenge, and so that you were so proud of it that yes, I was able to do it. So, what was your biggest hurdle, and what was your biggest challenge which you eventually overcame?
Biggest challenge. I think to answer this, I'll take myself to my first job in this country, which was way back in 1991. My first job in the city with a merchant bank, Clanwood Benson, and it was my first week into work. And my very first day, I went onto the trading floor.
Okay.
And this is going back 3 decades now. I'd never seen a trading floor before then. Now we can see in movies and so on, we know what it looks like. So when I went on the trading floor, massive big hall with a lot of digital lights and screens and figures and everything going, and it's so cramped. So it's almost like a one-way system there. So you enter and you got to go to the other side, of course. As I was walking, then I came across like sort of 7, 8 traders were standing and chatting about something. So obviously, being polite, you just wait because you got to wait for them to finish the conversation. When I caught into the conversation, they were talking about the computer mouse. And in then 1991, It was an upgrade of Windows 3.1. We are now on Windows 10, but that was 3.1, you know. And the traders, by nature, they do not like change. They want to do how they want to work. And it so happened that they were saying, holding the mouse, dangling it, we are not going to have this thing. We are not going to touch it. We are not going to use it. I'm standing there and the conversation kept going on. And after a few minutes, I said, excuse me, you will have to adapt to this because over the weekend we are rolling the new version. So when you come on Monday, you're all going to have this thing called mouse onto your PCs. You will not be using your keyboards. So this long, tall gentleman standing there, he turned around, he looked at me, he looked at my ID, and he said, I've not seen you here. I said, no, I'm new. And he said, okay. And he shouted to the entire floor. He said, meeting room 3. And it was like, the head teacher and the classroom or something, everybody dropped what they were doing and they went to the room. And he said to me, young lady, come with me. So I had no clue what was going on. We went there. And this meeting room, our 70, 80 traders cramped up. And he says to me, then, he says that, Alka, you're going to tell my boys, that's how they address the team, that they're going to use this thing. And if they're not convinced by what you have to say, don't bother coming into work anymore. And I was just totally blank, very young. I knew programming, I knew what I used to do. And I used to have suffer from glossophobia. You know what glossophobia is, Shipra, is the fear of public speaking. And me standing
Yeah, I
there,
know. Hmm.
and the whole room filled with that, and I'm thinking, that's it, my self-esteem was going, I've got no job, it's my, so many things sticking into my mind. And then I got hold of my nerves, I started talking, telling few features about 3.1, and in the back of my mind I'm thinking, what is it that matters most to them? And then it just came naturally, and I said that the entire city is getting upgraded to this version. When you come on Monday, and should you not upgrade, then everybody is going to be fine on that platform, and you guys are going to lose money. And it was that word money. Pin drop silence in the room. And this trader, I then realized he was the god of the trading floor. And he took the mouse out of my hand and he goes, boys, back to work. You've got to use this. And that was like I took a slow, deep breath again, saying, at least I've saved my job here. So that was something which I can never forget.
Mhm.
And it was quite a challenge to either break it there or do something. And my mom always used to say, I remember that she used to say, where there is a lock, there is a key. You just got to find it. So it was kind of a semi miracle for
So
me
tell
as
me
well.
one more thing, like do you feel any discrimination being a woman worker? I mean, that's a challenge globally, everywhere. I don't know. I mean, and how do you manage that? Sarcastic comments during at the workplace, some differentiation, some people quite sometimes ignore. They are prejudiced about towards a woman, and maybe a woman from India. So these are the challenges. These are cultural challenges. Sometimes you feel, and so it becomes really difficult. How do you manage it? Sometimes people take that to heart, that why people are discriminating, and sometimes you ignore it. So what's your way of handling that? Do you fight back? Do you question people, or you just ignore if somebody is sarcastic or racist or whatever? So how do you handle this? And I'm sure it must you must have faced it at least once or twice in your life, isn't it?
Well, this is quite interesting actually, because when I came here and being in technology and going in the city, all those years back, I did not see any, very few, like one or two, you would see in a week, and another Indian face or something. And when you see that, you give a broad smile and an exchange of smile. And when I came to work, I really, really enjoyed my work a lot. So what I was producing, it never was a hurdle for me for anybody to point out, oh, she's a female, she's an Indian, and hence we need to look at it that way. So I did not see that prejudice at all come in my way. But however, when I started my own company, and a female running an IT company, even now, as far as I can see around me, I don't know any other female running an IT firm and offering these services what I offer. So when they speak to you and they say, "Oh, can we speak to the person in charge?" And I said, "Yes, you're speaking to one." And then we talk about it, they explain what they need. And when they come into a communication, they come to understand that, yes, it is there. She knows what she's doing. So I may be lucky, but I did not face that in 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 any way that I could be upset about it, because I worked 10 years or so in the city, and I all I did was learn. My I was so hungry to learn things that I was just like from programming analyst and kept rising from my own sake. And when they're seeing the results, they were happy. So I had that wealth of information and the learning with me. And then when I brought this to the society, I think they looked at the knowledge base is to she knows what she's talking about. So I think I was okay. I think I've done all right here. So, but I have personally I've not seen anything that might have affected me.
And how does your parent, your husband and your kids, they must be supportive. But I think that the society structure in UK is like that only. I mean, people are quite acceptable to the fact that mom will be going for a work and she will be, not available all the time. So how do they take it? And since you started working early, so your kids must have been accustomed to you working and you taking care of kids and everybody else, and beside
Yes,
and the house and the business, everything.
yes,
And
yes. I
tell me one more thing. So, what is one thing that gives you happiness? Like, what are your stress busters? What are your hobbies? You know, and is there anything which you would say, okay, one day I will retire and I would do this thing. For example, for me, it's my dream to become a dancer. So I tell my family and my kids and my staff that once the company reaches a place at after maybe 5 or 10 years, I will start a dancing school, or I will join a dancing school. So we always have one dream which we have postponed or which we have kept aside for later part in life. So do you also have this kind of a dream or this kind of a hobby or some wish which you would like to do later on, not now, maybe for some reasons?
ah, I think I'm living my hobby. I think I love doing what I'm doing.
Okay.
Sometimes I lose track of time. It's like I have to look at the time and say it's dinner time. I need to pack this up. When I'm working, I'm just so engrossed in it. Is I'm fortunate that I'm living my dream. It's like this reminds me of Abdul Kalamji's quotation. He said, "Dream is not what you see when you're sleeping. Dream is something that does not let you sleep." I lose track of time many a times. So I have to, when kids were at school, I used to put an alarm for myself, is to say that I mustn't forget that I have to pick them up. So, so that used to be quite different. But yes, apart from this, I do enjoy certain things. I love playing badminton, which I used to play a lot. I think I would like to go back and do a bit more of that when time allows and things happen. I like cross stitch, painting, those kind of a things, which I've not been doing a lot at all. But in lockdown, funny enough, I went back to it in certain ways. So, you've got some time at hand. And what makes me happy, apart from these aspects, is I think I've my two kids. I've raised them up, and I feel quite contented about it. It's like Rahul is now 25. He's a very warm and loving, personality, very caring. He's a young doctor at Royal Sussex County Hospital in Brighton. Nikita, my daughter, she's 21, charming young lady. She's just graduated and she's working at London Screen School in London itself. So I think when I look back, I think I've done justice. I've done justice. This was my priority. And my kids are there. They make me feel proud. But I cannot take the credit alone. And it's been there for me. I can't hear you, Shipra.
So, you know what is unique about you is I keep meeting so many women across the globe. So, number one, you are still in love with the same business for past 30 years. You know,
Very true.
yeah, I mean, you're still so passionate. I love the energy and the passion you have towards your work. And besides that, you have your kids have grown up so well. So how you so it's like you are a superwoman. And how do you get so much of energy and drive? What do you eat for your breakfast, by the way?
I think, well, what I eat, I think most of us, I like all sorts of breakfast. I still love Indian breakfast, believe it or
So
not.
what do you eat for the breakfast, and whom do you worship, and who's your what should I say, special god or guruji or something? Because this kind of a continuous success, 30 years, everybody has that graph like this. You know, you go up, you go down, but continuously being in love with the same business and still want to do more about it, and raising two kids. That's hats off to you. It's really, really amazing. You're a superwoman, I must say.
Oh, oh no, thank you, Shipra. I think most of us are. When we want to do something, we do it. And then my father used to say, "Work is worship." You know, we
Yeah.
brought up with that thing. And if you love doing something, then of course time doesn't matter. And as per you said, the graph, I think everybody has that. I mean, I've seen ups and downs with and it's you have your pitfalls, you make mistakes, but I've always learned from them. I've always emerged more strongly so I don't repeat them. And that is what has taken me forward in terms of like sort of, learning from what you have either made mistakes or could improvise yourself with. So that's where I see it's. I'm not a superwoman. I'm just like anybody, or like you guys. You do the
There's one
same.
serious question I want to ask. It's a really serious question. Do you think if you were in India instead of UK, you were in India, your journey of life would have been different? Do you think the country has contributed? Because you know, in India, I am a woman entrepreneur for past 15 years.
I know.
Yeah, so even I am into technology. We have a company startup Capacita Connect, which is a startup. Things are not smooth in India. So whether it is a government policy, whether it is the support of the family or the society, you know, the typical answer is that, you know, your husband is earning so much. Why do you want to work? In India, I'm talking
Yes.
about. I don't know how things are in UK. So tell me, Alka, if you were in India, do you think you would have achieved a similar success or maybe higher? What do you say? I mean, does the country, the place, the people, they also play a role in your journey?
Absolutely, they do. They do. So obviously, in our life, when we come to that stage when they start looking for matrimonials and is to getting you married, as my father, what he did make sure for both me and my sister Veena is to they have to be standing on their own feet. They have to be independent, and whether after marriage they want to do anything or not, it's up to them or their in-laws or their husband. But when I did computers and when I sort of took this journey, I'm one. I think I can't sit idle. I have to keep doing things. And when the proposals were coming as they do, sorry, it's like because my dad came from a very highly known society, and the proposals that we were getting were like, okay, yeah, she, we like her, we'll be good, but she can't work. And I was like, I want to work, I want to work, you right? And they said, oh, what is this thing, computer, like a box or thing? This is going back 30 years. You got to remember that, right? And they said, oh, if she's so keen about it, we can get that dibba and get the box and leave it in the house. She can play on it. All she has to do is she has to go to the kitty parties and she
Yeah.
has to like sort of cut the ribbons at the inauguration places. But no, we don't want somebody who would work. And that I thought was not me. And then I came across now my husband Anil, of course, and he came to India as and we met, and he said, you do what you want to do. So he gave me the freedom even when we met, and to the date, of course, he's true to his word.
Wonderful.
Um, and hence, I think in India, at the time, answering your question, I don't think so I would have done anything or would be allowed to do anything. Now is a different thing. Now you're an entrepreneur, you know what you're doing. But 30 years back, if you were to start for something, India did not have that place for women, I think. But here it's very good. It's like you do what you want to do, and that doesn't just go you do what you want to do. It is the support of the family. As Anil has been the pillar of strength for me, he's been very encouraging, very supportive. My in-laws have been very encouraging, and it's half the battle won. When you've got their support, you've got their trust, your confidence is there, and and plus I enjoy what I do, so I think I have been lucky. I can't hear you, Shipra.
Yeah, where do you
Yeah.
see the future of software, digital marketing, and computers? And there's one more thing I want to understand why this critical mission computing. I mean, why am I right? That is the name, right? Why have it even critical? So it is like the most difficult things and the most difficult projects are done by Ms Alka. Is it like this?
I- in a way, now that you say it,
And no,
it
you know
is
what?
like
Why not Alka's solution? Alka's critical
right,
solution.
right, right. I'll tell you how. Is as I said, when I wanted to start the company, that was when my second child was born, Nikita, and Rahul, my son, at the time was nearly 4. He was 4 at the time. And then I'm thinking of what kind of a name do I want? What kind of name shall I have? And of course, I did love Star Trek. And I'm talking to Anil, and I'm talking to, bouncing the ideas about this. And I just turned to Rahul and say, what do you think? The name should be, of course, I'm not expecting him to come with a name. And he was playing with some toys, and he just happened to say critical mission because he was fighting his animals and the Star Trek and things. And that's how it came up. I just said, okay, that's it. I can't be bothered anymore. I know what it is, critical mission computing. So the name came out that way. But however, is the projects that we get on occasions, we've been faced with clients who have come to us to say that we've approached certain companies and they're not able to do this. Are you able to do this? And I believe that anything can be done. If you think about it, the strategy, what they need, cut it in small size, bite size analysis, and you can do it. So yes, we do also have a reputation of doing challenging projects. So I think it just fits in. It's the thought, the action, it all goes through. So hence I've kept the name as Critical Mission from day.
So there are people are commenting. They're really liking you a lot. Amazing lady, super session, and all that kind of
Oh,
things we can see. So there are a few
they're
questions.
lovely people.
There are few questions. However, these are very general ones. So somebody is asking, like, how do you managing team? Because as you have mentioned, like 15 people. I think the background of this question is, as women, I can ask, you know, how do you manage team of men? If I have to be frank.
Yes.
Because globally, I am 100% sure. Globally, men are not accustomed to take orders from a woman, frankly speaking. So whether
Right.
even if you're a prime minister or whatever. So how do you manage team?
Right. I think it's me. The first thing I had to look at is to obviously I need a team. And more naturally, there were more men who came forward. So I started choosing the team, but more importantly, as to how I manage them, is you can when I did a team, because I had gone through the experience of everything, going from analysis, from programming, coding, testing, employing, I've done everything and I know what it takes. So when you talk to your team now, so-called once you select them, is that they know what I'm talking about, they know what I'm expecting, and then hence they need to understand that okay, she's not going to take anything less than the professional side of it. And you got to be disciplined yourself. You got to set an example. So for instance, if I say that we've got these things to do, we've got the deadlines to meet, you got to deliver certain stuff and analyze and produce, is that I've already gone through that. Every project that I have, I understand it myself before I let it out to the team. And when they come up with, I know what they're talking about, and I challenge them. So now my team knows that yes, she's okay, and we got to listen to that. And discipline, of course, has to be there. So if you're disciplined, the team will follow you through. So it's not that difficult. It's just managing your time. It's to have, and as the team from half five, six on a good day, sometimes half four, five, I start my day. I have meeting with my teams, so they're like quite structured. It's to I'm having about the mobile app, or I'm having about the system, or I'm having about the Magento website or Shopify, and those things when we have those meetings, it's all online because I'm sitting here now. But the other thing which has helped me, Shipra, is when I cherry pick my team, I've always gone for the cream of the market because I don't have the time to take the starters, train them, and
Yeah.
take them through. So I've always taken each one of them, trial and test it. But at the same time, you got to mentor them in your way of working, is to how I would like the things to be done. And then it all falls into place accordingly. So it's not difficult. It's just keeping these simple things in place, I guess.
So tell me one thing, how has Corona impacted your business? Since you are digital, I don't think there must have been big impact on your work. But globally, companies are have massive losses. They're shutting down. There's a great loss in the business. So what's your take on that? Like, has it affected your business? I don't know how things are in UK.
Yes, it is. I mean, it is affected globally. But what happened when I came back from India in February? I was there this year. As soon as I came back, we obviously it had hit by then early March. And the one thing which I felt at the time that all the businesses they were in a shock. So they just sort of held themselves back with everything, which was fine. But then what came to me is that I have to look after my clients. They need me more now than ever before. We are on online. With the team, I was online. With the clients, I was still going to meet them and, sort of address and have a meetings. Then all came online. And everybody, even some of the work that was going on, some of the projects were frozen, which I could totally understand and appreciate their rationale behind it. But then I was still at the upfront and I approached them and say, how can I help you? What is it that I can do to help? And little things like that is to just put a banner on a website that we are not available. And, we were there. We were there as a team for our clients and we helped them out. Of course, yes, there was a dip down in economy even for us. So, but my team was absolutely fabulous. No complaints, nothing. We were out there working for them, and I'm sure it's going to pick up slowly some stage. But there are projects. People are coming. It's technology. In general, when people thought about it, oh, technology can't be heard because everybody is coming online. Everybody is going to need this more than ever, which is true. They will need. It's not going to change, but it was the shock which made them stop at the time, and they're slowly releasing themselves back into it. So we're writing 2 3 mobile apps at the moment. We're writing some apps. The work carries on, but it's the the density and the number which slowly come back when people are ready. You got to allow them time. It's a big shocking time for everyone, leave alone the IT industry. So I can't hear you, Shipra. No, I can't hear you. Ah, no, I can't hear you. Sorry, I can't hear you still.
I think now you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now.
So, as we move ahead, this is the perhaps this is one of the last questions. So, we were getting questions from the audience. There was only one question. Others were compliments for you, basically. So,
Oh,
I just want to understand what is one message that you want to give for the for all the listeners, and especially the women. For because me, I have been into professional life for 15 years, and frankly speaking, there have been times when I really wanted to give it up. I would take a 2 3 days holiday, sit at my home, and then I'll get frustrated sitting at home and come back off to the office. So, what is it that you want to advise women that this is the success mantra, and this is the way you should balance your personal life, your professional life, your life with the kids, and your life with the husband? Because I think just like a cat, a woman has a nine lives. because because the men have to manage only their professional life. Frankly speaking, globally, the men only have to manage only their professional life. We, the women, have to take care of the relatives, the kids, husband, house, and everything. So, what is Alkaji's suggestion and motivation and the game plan which you would like? Okay, you do these 5 steps, or you do ensure these 5 things, and things will be sorted and you will be happy and successful. So what's your motivational speech for the women?
right. Not as much as motivational speech, but what I believe in is women are gifted. Women are gifted for multitasking. We know that. Men would always stand and say, "Oh no, we can do it as well." Of course they can. That is fine. But women, as it comes internally, as a mother especially. So the mother side they always get sorted because that'll take a maternal internal instinct for the children and the family. And on the other side, if you really, really believe in yourself and you love doing something, no matter what it is, for me, it was computers. It may be your own dream, having a salon, having a a printing company, marketing, anything, cooking, whatever you believe in. Just go with your flow. Don't give up. Get up and go again, and you will find that you will succeed. That is what I believed in, is that pushing the boundaries, taking risk, and you will get there. Be the other thing which you need to do is be honest to yourself and honest to your clients, and that really pays off. I've always believed in long-term relationships. I've earned that because I have built that trust with my clients. You give them what they need, and then they trust you for it. I've got clients going back at 30 years. It was King's Recruitment. They're still there. So if you have a dream, follow it, and always look at your work. And my mantra for looking at the work is I always say, review, reflect, revise,
Very
get
nice.
better with every project. So it's always it's the same, Shipra. When you go out somewhere, you dress up and you come back and have a look in the mirror. You saying you're all set and everything, and then you go out. Any work that you do is the same. You look at it, you reflect, you see where there's room for improvement, and you do it. There used to be a saying that have client satisfaction. But when we put the head of any project, we walk extra mile or two for any client, and when they see that they've been given more than what they were promised or they required, it's the delight on their face, and that's a picture moment, really.
Yeah.
So when you see them happy, is they're happy, and that what gets them to come back to you, and this is follow your dream, I say, and you will succeed. I mean, there's no hindrance, whether it's a man or a woman. And for women, they are fighters. They will fight, and they will get to where they want to be.
Thank you so much. This is just an amazing, for the people, for the audience, and everything. The way I summarize it, it is the discipline, focus, and the passion. That if you have passion for what you do, you don't look at the hurdles. You look towards your goal, and that is what all makes the difference.
Absolutely.
this is something once I heard Mukesh Ambani saying this thing, and I think you are the person who has personified this statement, that in your journey there will be
Wow.
hurdles. In your journey there will be your aim or the target. So if you look towards obstacles, your success will be delayed. But if you just ignore all the obstacles and keep going and just look towards your aim or your goal, you will be successful. So I think that is completely, yes, apt for you, and this is what you have been doing. And I really appreciate the way you have mentioned that review, reflect, and refresh. I mean, maybe the sequence might be wrong, but
Otherwise, yeah.
this is really really amazing. So there are two things which really, I as a woman entrepreneur appreciate about you is, consistently performing well for past 30 years. And I can see that you change yourself according to the need of the hour. Because technology is one thing, it's very difficult to survive if you do not adapt and adopt yourself towards the changing atmosphere. So, and there is a thing about you. You are a very happy person and a very contented person. So that also shows from your personality and from your the way you talk. This also leads to have, multiple successes. So
Oh,
it's
thank you.
really really great having you. And we will keep in touch. And from the team of Breww, from all the audience, and from the founders of Breww and Mr. Mulchan, I really want to say thanks to you for inspiring us, for taking so much of time. And we are all really delighted and honored to have you here. And thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Can I take a moment
Yeah,
to
sure, sure.
end this? Absolutely. Uh, I'll say I want to express my thanks and gratitude to Mr. Mulchan Chahar for giving me the opportunity and the making me go through and explain and follow and showcase my life and experiences with all the viewers who are there with us today. And Shipra, you've been excellent, excellent host. And along with that, obviously, Mr. Datta and the other founder members of Breww, excellent job that they are doing. And there are so many behind the scenes. So, they're doing wonderful, wonderful things to different women entrepreneurs, especially. Excellent thing. And I believe that time is one gift and a very precious gift one can give to anyone. And today I'm so delighted that we have so many audience who have joined us, and my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to each one of them for making this time for us. And I'm really, really sort of thrilled about this. And may they all have a good festive season, no matter how the times are turning on us. But I'm sure the leaf will turn, days are going to get better. And may they all have a nice, beautiful coming new year, happy, healthy one to see and beyond.
Yeah.
Thank you all so very much. And laughter and sunshine to one and all. Thank you.
So it's a namaskar for all the audiences there, and especially to you for your Christmas, and a very happy New Year to all the audience, to you, Alka. And yes, this time we are eagerly waiting for the New Year, thinking that 2020 goes fast as possible.
Yes.
It's been a tiring year for us. And thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you here. Thank you, audience. Thank you, everybody who is seeing us online. You are an amazing, amazing audience. And it was a pleasure having you here. This will be available on the website of Breww and also on the YouTube. So anybody wants to have a relook, or anybody wants to listen to amazing story of Ms Alka Bagga, they can go through and visit. Thanks a lot. Once again, a very
Thank you,
happy
Shipra.
new year and good night.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.